welcome to a very special NCAA Lacrosse Championship episode of Get the Lax Scoop.
Absolutely.
John, are there any guests today?
None.
No.
We don't need any.
No. We have plenty to talk about, Jay.
Why is that?
We're coming to you on the precipice of the NCAA Lacrosse Tournament. In fact, 2 play-in games have already taken place, Jay. We're already into playoff action.
It's incredible. So exciting. All right, what's next?
Jay, we're almost to the bottom of the bracket. The number 7 Duke Blue Devils and the Georgetown Hoyas.
This is going to be a rather evenly matched contest. Do you want to know why?
Not really, but I'm sure you're going to tell me.
I'll tell you, Ron. Duke has been awfully streaky. Talk about Syracuse being streaky. Duke has got like nicotine stains skidding up and down the joint here. Number 25 in offensive efficiency is Duke. And guess where Coach Warren and the Hoyas stand? Number 23 in defensive efficiency. So you got 25 versus 23. And offensive efficiency for G-Town. Guess what number they are? Well, let me tell you. Number 11. And where do you think Duke is? Number 12 on the defensive end. So talk about an evenly matched crew. It's going to be amazing. So Ron, go ahead. Say something.
This is going to be a very expert analysis. Duke just annoys the shit out of me. They just really do.
Is it the hairdo? Is it the
and there's something
unis?
about this team that kind of annoys the shit out of me. and I don't really know why, other than I've never really liked the Blue Devils. I have to go give Coach Danowski his due. I mean, this team seemed like it was
due is amazing. He's 72 or 3 years old. His due is perfect. It's incredible.
And it seems like this team was dead to rights. It's Coach Danowski does this year in and year out, where they're like lollygagging through the regular season, then all of a sudden they kind of get it together.
Yeah,
when it matters. But here's what
Virginia had them dead to rights. Virginia had like 5 possessions in that OT. My gosh. I mean, Duke was walking around. They were like exhausted and beaten and bloodied.
Our poor friend Lars Tiffany.
Oh my God.
Duke has a voodoo doll.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, Danowski just has
this was one game where like normally Duke plays really well against Virginia. They didn't really play well and they played slow, and it was like, oh my God. I just thought this would have been that was number 20 in a row in the regular season. This would have been the most unlikely Virginia team to beat Duke, and they had them. But like you said, Duke freaking pulled it out.
And if Virginia wins that game, they're in the ACC tournament.
And Duke isn't.
Duke's out and sitting at home right now.
And they're probably not going to make the playoffs either.
No way.
Crazy.
No way.
My God, but here they are, and they could actually make a run. They're talented. I mean, their defenseman, this guy Charlie Johnson, I've been watching him. He is a shutdown defenseman. I mean, he shut down one guy after the next. He's a stud. So they got great talent.
Coach Warren, can we transition to the Hoyas, please?
Let's, please, Ron.
I really like the way Coach Warren has his teams play.
I like the way the guy dresses. Have you ever seen him? Outfits are amazing, like retro Hoya stuff. But go ahead.
His caps, he's got rather large ball caps, Jay.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like Allen Iverson type.
As a large-headed man, perhaps that's the connection.
But you two, we got to get him on the show and compare your 2 domes. I mean, they're both enormous.
But I think Coach Warren has built a gritty culture there at Georgetown. His teams play tough. I mean, having said that, they're another one of these teams that are kind of hard to figure, have been kind of up and down throughout the season. You know, they scored 3 goals in a loss to Denver. Yeah. And then scored 21, 17, 19, and 16 in their next 4.
Right. Go figure. Yeah.
So you know, this is another one where, Jay, I'm gonna take the upset because, as I said before, Duke annoys the shit out of me, and I like Coach Warren and the kind of culture he's built there at Georgetown, and I think this is gonna be, you know, another one of those kind of, I'm gonna say, 12-10
Hmm.
kind of game for Georgetown.
I'm going actually 9-6 for Georgetown.
Oh,
That's
Jay.
because Duke's defense is very good. And I'm saying Duke's offense just goes out there and lays an egg. They're going to only score 6 goals. Although, let's go over the numbers here. 25th offensive efficiency for Duke. That's incredible, right? 25 with all that talent out of 77 teams. And but the defense for Georgetown is number 23 in all of D1 lacrosse. And then the offense for Georgetown is number 11, and the defense for Duke is number 12.
Hmm.
So it is going to be a very close game.
Evenly matched game, Jay.
But the Hoyas are playing well. They've got a good amount of momentum going here, winning yet another Big East championship, and they have rolled these last four. They just crushed their last 4 games.
Yeah.
The last 2 of them being the semi and final of the Big East tournament. So I'm with you, big guy. I'm going with the Hoyas. 9-6 for me. Steve, what do you
All
say?
right. It was interesting. As I was researching the mascots here, I learned a small known fact that Duke used to be just known as the Devils before they invented autoerotic asphyxiation. So since then, they're known as the Blue Devils.
Was that on their website?
Jay, I have no idea what any of that just meant, and I'm not going to ask any
Don't
questions.
ask.
I think it would be better if we just move along from
Ron, I
that.
can only tell you what's written in Wikipedia because that's my
Put
source of information.
Yeah,
I
put
mean,
the mic down and slowly back away.
I was looking
just
to the roster spots for a tiebreaker because this one's a tough one. And while Georgetown has a Michael Scharfenberger and a Lucas Dudemain, Duke still
Schartenberger?
has a Brody Tawil. I couldn't decide, but ChatGPT thinks it's Duke, so I'm going to go with ChatGPT, and I think it's going to be Duke and 11-8.
Okay, it could
they
happen,
have a.
no doubt.
Was that
Any,
Tweety Bird? There's no. That guy has to be called Tweety Bird. There's no
I
way.
mean, it's a toss-up. Duke hasn't won an ACC championship since 2012, has not won the NCAA championship since 2014. Coach Dino, let's go. Step up.
Jay, that's that. Sometimes those stats that just kind of surprise you. I would not
Yeah,
have guessed
I know.
that it's been 10 years since Duke has won a national championship.
11, but yeah, who's counting?
Well, Jay, I
It's
think we're both
crazy.
right. It's been 10 years and this will be the 11th. How about
There you
that, Jay?
go. Right, because they are not winning the title. They could,
Yes.
but they're not going to.
No, Jay.
Crazy, crazy. In
Jay,
the
we've
quarterfinal
reached
fours.
we've reached the bottom of the bracket, Jay.
Yes.
The number 2 ranked Maryland Terrapins against the Air Force Academy, fresh
Terps.
off a play-in game win over Robert Morris. Jay, this one. I want to start by talking about Maryland. It's kind of like interestingly, I don't think anybody's talking about Maryland
Right.
in a way. It's and yet they're 11-3 and the number 2 seed. But
Right.
again, as we talked about, they did just lose to Ohio State in the Big Ten championship.
Right.
But boy, Coach Tillman has certainly had a way of preparing his teams for the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. Tough to bet against Tills in the NCAA tournament.
Yes. But this Maryland team seems to be a team that, unlike some of the recent Maryland teams, which, up and down on both ends of the field, had some of the better players in the country, seems like they're winning with depth. They have a lot of very good players all over the field, but not the CJ Curse difference making kind of player like they've had in the past, it seems.
You're right. And their 2 top scorers.
Jay, excuse me, Steve, can we record? I think Jay just said you're right to me.
Let's rewind that.
Yeah. That's
Could replay
it's only taken 3 seasons, but
I
we're
almost
gonna
said it
pause
once,
there.
but you're correct. That was the first time, I believe. But yeah, they're incredibly consistent. They're kind of a machine, but they're a low scoring machine. Their offense is number 22 in offensive efficiency. Their 3 top scorers all have 38 points, or 2 of them do, and which is Spanos, Urksa have 38 points, and Kelly's got 36, which is like a 2.3 point per game average, which is like half of what most other teams' top players have. And then they got a bunch of guys with like 10 to 20 points. So I mean, they're, got a thin margin there on offense. And shockingly, they're usually super consistent, which this team has been. They beat Princeton, they beat Richmond, they beat Syracuse, they beat Notre Dame, they did beat Ohio State in the regular season, but they lost to Michigan in the second half of the season. They lost to Rutgers, and now they lost to Ohio State. So, like, you gotta wonder a little.
Jay, again, like this is the theme, right? Every one of these teams, when you were going through their wins, I'm like, holy cow, how can you not think they're going to win it all again? And then you go, oh, but they lost to Michigan and
Okay.
lost to Rutgers and just
Two
lost.
non-playoff teams.
So
Yeah.
every single one of these teams, again, with the exception of Cornell, you see that they all have flaws, that unless they're given, that on any given day, if they're not playing their best or the matchup isn't quite right, as you were talking about Syracuse and Notre Dame,
Right.
that none of these teams have the talent to overpower you,
Right.
it seems. So that is what's going to make for a really incredible tournament. I again would not be surprised to see Maryland make a run, but it sure does seem like most teams that reach the pinnacle, they have those one or two difference makers, right? They got
Right.
a lot of parts,
Right.
but the teams that win it all have a couple of those special players that when crunch time comes, they're just going to make the plays that matter. And I just don't know if Maryland has that this year.
Right. I'm with you. It's true. I mean, when push comes to shove and the chips are down, Cornell just gives the ball to CJ Kirst, and he doesn't even have to score the goal, although most times he does. Everybody, slides to him and he'll make an incredible play, either scoring or moving the ball for an assist or getting a hockey assist. So Maryland definitely does not have people like that. So they are number 2 in defensive efficiency. Their goalie, McEnany, is 34 years old. He's doing a heck of a job. But he's an amazing goalie. He's a serious difference maker. Their defense is very good. Offense is only number 22, though. But that number 22 offense will be going against the number 44 defense in Air Force. And although Air Force has done a heck of a job, 7 in a row wins to end their season and win the conference championship for the A-Sun. I think it might be interesting early, but I got Maryland winning 12-4.
Yeah, Jay, I think again, it's really interesting when we talked about Fairfield earlier and the run they were on, and you see what 3 teams in the tournament who struggled mightily, right, early in the season and found their mojo and are coming into the tournament with great momentum, Air Force being one of them. But I think in this game, I think they're going to be overmatched, as your statistics just demonstrated. And
But it is cool to see. It's the 3rd or 4th team that's had a season like that. Like chips are down. They lost to all these in-conference teams. Then they go on an incredible run, beat the teams that they lost to in the regular season in the conference playoff, and get into the NCAA tournament. And it's a pretty cool story.
Well, I think Jay, overall, it just continues to show the incredible growth of the game and the number of talented kids that are coming out of high school, because there would have been a day where if you're 1-7, you don't even have a prayer, but the reality is that the margin is close. You can be 1-7 and be right on the cusp, right? And so
crazy.
yeah, and vice versa, as Fairfield found out, even though they ended up 14-3. So yeah, the talent level across the board, as we're looking at, it used to be too. You went through these first round games, and there were 3 or 4 that you just there was not even going to be a game.
Impossible.
This is just a stacked first round.
Normally, you're going to have, even the last couple of years, you might have an upset here or there in the first round, but these are all like 50-50 pick'ems, except for like 2 games in this whole setup here. Usually the quarterfinal round, I felt like was almost like a pick'em the last 5 or 6, 7 years. But this is incredible. We got 16 teams, and really you'd say there's a lock maybe on 2 of these games, and that's it. Right?
Yeah, and again, as I keep looking here, I picked against Syracuse, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won the national championship. You know, like there's teams here that could lose in the first round, or I wouldn't be surprised if they went all the way.
Like
which
Notre
makes
Dame
for,
and Ohio State, for sure.
Yeah,
Both
yeah.
of them.
And so I think it's going to be one of the most exciting, wide open tournaments we've seen in a long time. I'm just incredibly excited for it.
Absolutely. Now let's get Grisalfi's opinion here, dog. You're babbling
Oh,
on.
we did not give him a chance, did we?
No.
To
Ron, did I get the score? Your
got some
Maryland
courtesy.
score?
I think I said no, I did not give a score on that.
Thank you, Steve. He's trying to get away with not giving a
Yes,
score.
yes.
It could be, it all could come
along.
down to the tiebreaker, Ron. We need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this game will be 15-6 in favor of the Terrapins.
Okay. I don't think the Terrapins have scored 15 goals all year, but that's good. Go with that pick.
Well, Jay, I think you just
Steve.
told me that Air Force has the 44th ranked defense in the country. I believe there's 64 Division I teams. So if they are going to score 15 goals, it seems like perhaps this might be the opportunity.
There's 74 or 77. Ron, get with it. Steve, you're next.
Maryland surprisingly came in the basement on the Yelp reviews at 3.2.
That is a shocker.
I was very surprised that they had 74 reviews and 3.2. Very, very bottom heavy.
And Yelp is huge
2 stars
for colleges and universities.
Yeah, I'm looking for anything from Air Force. They did win they have a slight edge on the name game with Blaze DeGracie edging out Sisto Averno on the roster spot, but that wasn't enough to overcome the long odds. So I'm also going to go to Maryland, but I'm going to think Maryland's going to call the Dogs off early to get rest up for the second round. So I'm looking at like a 10-4 game.
Ooh, I think that's a good call. Good call. Well, that wraps it up. We went through each and every game, 8 games this weekend. Tremendous.
So, Jay, are we going to go for the gusto and pick our national championship, or are we going to come back and continue this?
We're going to come back
in the later rounds.
Yeah. You can make a prediction. Pick your finals. We'll each pick our final.
All right. I am going to go with Cornell.
Shocker.
And I'm going to go with, how about this, Jay?
Ooh, let's hear it, Ron.
How about this? I'm going to go with an all-Ivy final and a rematch of the Ivy Championship. The Cornell Big Red versus the Princeton Tigers, Jay.
Ooh. Just checking if that's even possible. It is. Okay.
Oh, yes, it is, Jay.
So Princeton's
going to
beat Maryland after getting thumped in the regular season. Okay. But it could happen. You're going to go against Tillman. Interesting. Very interesting.
Jay, I think we've covered this. I think that Princeton has, as you know, a couple of those difference makers. They have a Tewaaraton finalist on attack. They have some difference-making players and depth that Coach Madeline's been building there at Princeton.
Princeton.
Yeah,
I hate to say it, but you're probably right. Based on the stats, number 8 offense for the Tigers, number 9 D, and you look at Maryland, number 22 offense, number 2 D. So yeah, but I'm not going to go with the way you're going, of course.
No,
I'm going to go Big Red versus the Terps, and then Big Red wins the championship. Steve, what does the number say there with Yelp and everything?
I never got past the first
Turtle
round
versus a bear,
but I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's an Ohio State Maryland final with Maryland winning it.
Oh man, I like it. That definitely could happen. You got the brackets right and everything. I love it.
All right, I have a bonus here.
I love Steve how Jay thinks we can't read a bracket. He's like checking us to make sure
I actually am working off a piece of paper. I don't have the bracket in front of me, so I was just hoping they were on opposite sides of it.
Nice. Well, of course, I'm showing my cards because I was concerned that I was going to pick the wrong side of the bracket, but yeah.
All right, so I have a bonus round, Jay, if we have time.
Yeah, do it.
So in my research efforts to get up to speed with you guys on lacrosse knowledge, I relied heavily on ChatGPT. So I gave it a prompt, and I said, who would win in a fight between, and Dog's going to kill me, by the way. Who would win in a fight between Ron Douglas and Dr. J. McMahon of Midlothian, Virginia? So I had to specify because there's a lot of Dr. McMahons, as you can imagine. I'm going to read you verbatim what ChatGPT said.
Oh, this is great.
In a hypothetical physical confrontation between Ron Douglas and Dr. John McMahon of Midlothian, Virginia, the outcome would likely favor Dr. McMahon
Yes.
due to his extensive background in sports medicine and podiatry.
Tripping ankles.
Now,
Cutting
it goes
Achilles
further
tendons.
to say Dr. John McMahon is a podiatrist and sports medicine specialist with over 25 years of experience. He earned his bachelor's degree in biology pre-med at Brown and his doctorate in podiatric medicine from Temple. Dr. McMahon completed a 3-year residency at Bon Secours, New Jersey Health System, where he trained under leading podiatric and orthopedic physicians. He is certified by the American Board of Podiatric Surgery and Foot Surgery and Reconstructive Rear Foot Ankle Surgery. Dr. McMahon specializes in sports-related injuries, overuse injuries, and reconstructive foot and ankle surgery. He operates adult, this is in the name of your practice, adult and child.
Oh, for the love of God.
Now, Ron Douglas is an educator and nonprofit leader with a background in educational administration and development. He served as the associate head of school at Moses Brown in Providence, Rhode Island, and later took on the role of chief development and global sales officer at Adicia Nutrition, a company focused on combating global malnutrition. While Douglas has demonstrated leadership and dedication in his professional endeavors, there is no public information.
Malnutrition guy on the planet. So that's good.
There's no public information indicating any training or experience in physical combat or strength conditioning. Given Dr. McMahon's specialized knowledge and training in physical performance and Douglas's lack of such expertise, Dr. McMahon would likely have the upper hand in a physical altercation.
It's cracking me up.
So there you have it. It's on the internet.
He must have paid you a lot of money. Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely not, Ron. This is reality. Face the facts. The truth hurts.
Dr. McMahon.
I mean, this is artificial intelligence, Ron. This is what's changing the world.
Yeah, yeah. I'm screwed.
You are screwed, Ron. You're just a big softy. That's what AI is saying about
There's
Ron.
no evidence of him having any experience in physical confrontation. Well,
no evidence. That's
John. How does ChatGPT
broke Rich Tui's nose? They got to do their homework.
How does ChatGPT know that you weren't the Grandmaster of Ceremonies at Kappa Sigma?
Exactly. I'll give you physical confrontation.
So this is why I'm not really worried about AI yet. I mean, it can't even get my spell check correct, but it doesn't know that Dog played football either.
Come on, Steve. I'd give Dog a good run for his money. That is beautiful. What a great episode. I hope our listeners are loving it. And we will come back next week after this round's games and see where we went and maybe make some predictions for the week going forward. Provided you guys are going to be in the country.
Exciting episode of Get the Lacrosse Scoop. Get the Lax Scoop.
Get it straight, Ron.
Scoop. As we come towards the end of another tremendous season, Jay.
Absolutely. Steve, excellent work. I love the criteria. And we shall do it again next week. I'm psyched for this weekend. It's going to be awesome.
Well, gentlemen, it's been a tremendous evening talking about the tournament. It's getting me very excited for an incredible weekend of lacrosse.
Absolutely.
Enjoy the games, everyone.
100%. Can't wait. All right, guys, have a great weekend. We will see you the next time. All right, cool. Until we meet again, here's to hoping you find the twine. We're signing off here at the Get the Lax Scoop. Thanks again so much. We will see you the next time.